The dog game is dying. Let's talk about the game first, not the dogs. It's the challenge of the wins, the competitive addiction, the thrill of the win, and the rewards of achievements. Losing only gives you the drive to come back. I learned to watch the winners, my motivation was there, my dedication was evident, now I'm a winner. The problem is the cheating to win, manipulating the truth, and then it's the all outliers. How is this sharing our achievements with liars, cheaters, and bullshitters? We have lost the historical value of the dog game. We can't decipher the real from the fake, the lost is the cost. So I salute these dogs of going hard kennels for all that you've given me in the game.
Let's talk about pit bulls. The history, the breeding, the maintaining and feeding, and the controversies surrounding the great hunts. Come interact with the legends, and ask questions, and listen to their stories as we talk about kennels and dogs of the past and present. Hosted by one of the game's most respected kennels, with over 40 years in the hunt, going hard kennels Twin 1 and Twin 2, dogs like Champion the Debrat, the very first champion off-brand Champion Mayday, the Dog of the Year, and Register of Merit. Champion Pretty Mama, 2-time Best in Show and 2-time Gamest in Show. Going Hard's Bay Bay, Register of Merit, Damn to Champion What a Day, Champion Gus, Champion Elrod, Champion Yellowbird. So pull up a seat, and let's talk dogs.
Bet I know my head, but I don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them people. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them people. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Most wanted kennels in the spotlight, danger alert, come with the name. Super kennels competition, all built for the fame. Work kennels was the work and work, while Cherokee kept the game strong. Evolution built a bloodline, where the heart come from. These dogs ain't hype, they the truth in the pit. Every pedigree stamp, when them paws hit the street. Ain't no fairy tales, this that real y'all grit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the pit bull script. Shout the brothers with the backbone thick. Veer brothers, color brothers, Bishop brothers legit. They don't talk about it, they be about it every day. Put the work in and y'all let the results say. Them boys on the rise, yeah the circle stay tight. Plow boys, wall boys, Havana boys in the fight. Different flags, same grind, same fire, same spit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the litmus test.
Legs in the doom, behind set tone. Locked tight, locked in, carved in stone. Church boys hold it with the pit bull gauge. True colors on man, Sean B in the maze. Arsenal game bill, but your knife stay sharp. Only in America, walk them down Ram in the dark. DSK and Metal High Dog, pound by hard when they hit. Praise to the men who rock this shit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, they live it.
Fat boy the legend, Lil Buster, real strong, Southern Bulldog, keep the bloodline long. Latin force pressure, sniper don't miss. Shaded day, shaded with a killer instinct. Twist, super night power, unit whole rank. Boot camp, click hitting like a Sherman tank. Little fine with the vision. Tennessee dog pound, got their eyes on the pit. All legendary, really the shit. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, they built it brick by brick.
Talk about it, yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it, yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it, don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it. That's the yard law, from the pups to the legends. Everybody stand tall. Every name on this track got a story that's lit. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Every name on this track got a story that's lit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Call this some legendary pit bullshit, 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 pit bullshit.
It's Moe and Mike in the house. Going hard with the legends. Paying homage, you know. Yo.
Yeah. Twins Moe and Mike, we running this game. Legends in the making, never gonna be the same. Kennels popping hard, these game dogs raised right. The brat, pretty mama, they shining so bright. La Mayday, what a day, they breathe the heat. Red Ruby L-Rod, they can't accept defeat. With 38 special and yellow bird, we top tier champions, grand champions, ain't no fear.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodlines strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
KPTO, the modern Earl Tudor. Got in the pack, making moves like a tutor. APT, family thick, like legends in the game. Legend of them, Triple M. Shout out the name, Deep South, Roadblock. We upholding tradition. Mama, Southern Kennels, we got that ambition. Hardcore here, the Stone City brings the fire. The Abrahams, the fam lifting us higher.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, baby, we tight. Bloodlines strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Listen up, respect the hustle, respect the grind. Being Nate Dogg, putting in work intertwined. Keeping that legendary status alive, you feel? Don't hate on the ride, catch the bus, we keep it real. What's history without a future? We pay the way, Captain. We make it happen, that's the play.
So here's to the champions, run the race, stand tall. Twins Moe and Mike, we gon' answer the call. Legends in the game, yeah, we holding it down. In the world of game dogs, we wearing the crown.
Run the register of merit, we got the elite. Mayday bug Jeep, yellow Frisco, feel the beat. Females like honey bunching awesome, maybe we tight. Bloodline strong, spreading knowledge, taking flight. Scratch to win, don't talk, be about it. We the real deal, you know it's true, no doubt about it.
Shout out to Ohio Cash, the man with the plan, Rastaman Boom, Schoolboy, aka the. There's levels to this game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Develop your game. Rob, 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 rob. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Moe and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. From yellow Mayday 8s, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty mama got the look and the structure intact. L-Ride bring the heat, yellow bird bring the flame. Gus and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turn. No shortcuts, taking no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Moe and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday ace turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the game, stamp legit. Find him in Tornadoes pedigree, Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O. our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennels, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the spec, it's 6. Yes, yes. Yeah. Tom, Dick, Todd, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time. Time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low tight, apex, pressure built for the chase. Gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade. Third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. Yeah. I said third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid.
What up? What up? What's up? Y'all know what time it is. It's Talk Shit Tuesday. What up, everybody? Yo, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way in the house. Hey, if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. No need to hit the notification because we're going to be here every Tuesday, Friday night. So show your love. Let me see who I got out here in my house tonight, just hanging out. My man. Coming in, putting it down. No. Before I even get started, big shout out to Dana coming in, showing that love as usual. From the very beginning to the very end, I see you, fam. Hitting that first place spot, you was probably sitting back there waiting, had it all set up. I feel you. One love, fam. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Carlos Lee, coming in with the roses. Roses. We need them damn roses. Getting that party started early. Yo, big shout out, long time subscriber from day one, my man, Melee. 420 in the house. What up, fam? My man, Mr. Paul Johnson in the house. What up, fam? What else we got here? Well, y'all coming in, knocking the doors down. Long-time supporter. Been winning from day one. Still a supporter. The one and only Mr. David Morris in the house. What up, fam? Much love, much respect, Mr. Morris. Still doing what you do, baby. Love you for it. Big shout out to the Harway Kennels in the house. What up? Bam! Showtime! My man. What up, fam? Showtime getting a little pub around here. He's showing his face, showing y'all what the hell the deal is. I'm with you on that, fam. I see you. Showtime, you need to put that link down there so everybody can hit that button, get that subscribe off, fellas. Gotta represent, gotta share your love. Hey, tonight gonna be one of them crazy, you caught me on a hard Tuesday, but to me, I want it to be like something. Let's bring some excitement back into this shit. Okay. Because we talk about the past, right? All the time. We try to stay back there. We stay on that bus. But, over the years, I've sat here and I watched these videos. I could believe it or not, I really do critique the videos because I know it's some, again, it's only so much we can only say about these dogs, right? And we have given you our ups, our downs, our highs, our lows, pretty much every part as far as, our experience in this game and trying to give you the full impact, even if it's, sounds crazy sometimes. But, one thing I want y'all to get is that passion, right? So we have that passion, but we also be having the moments when me and bro be sitting there and we just be, probably on some of that moon rock and sipping a little bit of that yak. And, we had these conversations, man, that just go off. And we had one of these recent conversations. Man, if I would do it all over again. And Mo was just saying all the shit that he would do it all over again. And it really turned out to be one of them crazy conversations because when you're already blasting and shit. And this is over the 4th of July weekend, y'all. When we sitting up here, I fell asleep, after a long night. Yeah, hey Mo, boy, you put your foot in them damn ribs, boy. I'm telling you, I didn't know you was doing it like that, bruh. Shit. I hope you got that recipe written down because damn, them ribs were slamming, man, falling off the bone. Like he marinated that seasoning for about a week. It was so damn tasty. But we had that conversation and man, I swear I dreamed this shit. And the dream was almost like so real that I felt like I had to talk about, let me see if other people feel that same way. Can you really just think about the many years you put into something? And for tonight, it's going to be these dogs. And think about, man, if I had the opportunity to do something again. Because there's always been a moment where you pass up on things. There's a couple things that even in our story, you just wish things could have happened different. And think about the things that you possibly could have did that could have made that whole situation for the good. Because I never think that you could do something over for the bad. You know what I'm saying? So to be able to go back and turn some of them that never happened, could and should have happened, and be able to make it happen and see the results. You know what I'm saying? Because you cherish your past. Me, I do. Because the more I understand my past, I know and have a reference on what to not do as I was moving, along in the future. And we try to be as disciplined as we can possibly be based on any and everything that we did. One thing I think me and my brother can truly say after all these years and look back on everything, and I don't think we would ever change how we did things, is some of the things we did, we probably would do different. But one thing we always wanted out of life was just to be able to have a life to even look back on and say we enjoyed it. I'm talking about everything for us, but then to have a part of that life, these dogs would carry them. How could you not talk about the damn dogs outside of all the other things that we could really talk about? The dogs, it was just a part of that. And I could sit back and just truly say, yeah, we did have a lot of fun. Just meeting people, having the dogs that we had, and have more appreciation for them now than I possibly did back then because of the competitiveness and the fun we had being competitive, being who we are, just being ourselves, Yeah, and the dream played itself all the way out to where almost up until me doing this podcast. And it was like, I don't know what's going to happen, one of them deja vu moments, but you just think, damn, that was so real for me that I'm sitting here doing a video on it because I know that a lot of us, and I'm out there in that damn Shark Tank, spent many years doing this, and we all know what it feels like to look back or just sit back and listen to the conversations. Some of us, we have, them great experiences to where, damn, you can't help but be like, damn, man, if I had known that, if I known this, or if I had done that, man, I could have had that. But as a excuse me, as a whole in the game, and you had it all to do over dealing with these dogs, what would be them things that you would do different? And I think, I don't want it just to be just our story, because I hear our story every Tuesday and Friday. We're going to talk about the things we could have, should have, would have did. Yeah, we do. We do that all the time. But I just want to hear some other people's input. That's why I put it out there as a poll, because I like to know how into these dogs was our audience. I mean, can you really understand or feel the things that we be talking about, or understand that experience to the point to where, you might be young in the game, because again, history don't, you live your future, but yesterday already became a part of your history. So age don't have anything to do with it, but if you live long enough to be 18, because that's how old you got to be to get in here, you still got a lot of future to live, which means you have a whole lot of history to create. And I want to hear some of y'all insights. So there's not a right or wrong answer on that poll. All that poll is there is for participation, and it just gives me a chance to just beam in on the audience. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Aaron Jackson, coming in, kicking the door down, showing that man love with a 10-piece. I see you, fam. Appreciate that. Really do appreciate that, man. Hey, my man, Mr. Guy Ghostin. What up, fam? Hollywood. My man, Hollywood. The grease man in the house. What up, fam? Just making sure I didn't skip nobody, y'all. Hold on. Everybody. What up, fam? Everybody came in and said, only thing I change and never get on YouTube. Hey, that's a funny one too, because that was even in the dream too. I can't, I ain't got there yet, everybody. I really don't do, social media. I do get around because I got family, I got people, you got that many friends. Everybody's always out there doing something. But this YouTube thing, it is a little bit out there, you know what I'm saying? But that's, again, you live your life on social media. And it's funny because YouTube is like the place that everybody just want to go and just be, I guess, some of them themselves, or just create some of the shit that you see. But man, you got to give it to them. You be missing out on something if you wasn't over on YouTube. Just go check it out. YouTube is killing what dogs was even about. Well, that's a hard one to even get on. That's, what? Everybody, you seem pretty adamant about that. And one day, I think we should really do a show, to give a good insight, because for our little, we're coming up on 4 years, actually, after our first video drop. And when you start talking about the American Pit Bull Terrier, you kind of look at it from how it's being presented, and it's funny that you feel that way, because it didn't really kill the game for me. It just exposed it for what it really was, and it still is. You know, when I say exposed, a lot of people putting that persona on Front Street. YouTube just gives you a bigger, a little bit more running time to do that. But the dog game, that ain't nothing really changed. They come and they go. Everybody got that different story, but the only ones that's going to really be about looking at or listening to is, for dog people, American Pit Bull Terrier dog people, they always going to want to come see. Even if, you don't know what you're talking about, they're going to come see. If you know what you're talking about. So people have their different outlooks on how they look and do things. Again, it's just like the TV. If you don't like the TV show, why would you turn to it? So that entertainment part of why I've seen a lot of channels come and go is the entertainment part of it. Because you can talk that shit up here, but when you put yourself out there, you're exposing yourself. And that's basically what the dog game has been and done prior to YouTube and long after YouTube. It wouldn't be considered a dog game if it didn't have the bullshit that came with it. I feel you, everybody. Good conversation, though, that you that you brought it up like that, because you can't help but think of those type of things, especially when you're looking back on the history when we didn't even have a YouTube or nothing. But, you had all these different journals. You had that input. You wasn't in a box. When I say in a box, you just got a yard full of bulldogs. You don't know nobody else who got bulldogs. You just got a bunch of bulldogs. No. If you got bulldogs, you're going to know and associate yourself with people with bulldogs. And if you're trying to advance yourself with these bulldogs, your skills going to make you, get out there and put in that hustle game. We didn't need YouTube for that. But then we could read. We would actually, regardless of what publication you was accustomed to having, you could read. It didn't take a video to help you move along in any of us, and to have the success that some of us and a lot of y'all had, as far as what you did and your contribution to your experience in the American Pit Bull Terrier community. That shit is like precious. But if you had it to do over again, would you change the way you got your information, you come up, the people you met, what got you there, how far you go? Man, if I could have just had a bigger yard, I'd be wanting to think about all the things that you could have did, and and them could have did, and the things that you could have changed always seem to grow over that time period in my dream. It's like your experience is getting more and more involved. You're getting smarter at what you're doing, the moves you're making, they're being calculated. And then you remember them cracks in the head. Like, you know, I seen that coming. Type of shit. You know? And you don't got to be high to think about that. I think what moved me about the whole situation is, you know, Mo's passion is different than mine. And Mo more bulldog man than I am. Because the only thing I feel when me and him be talking bulldogs and I watch his passions, and I said the world wouldn't be ready for two, me and him. No. It wouldn't be ready for two of me and him. And maybe that's why our relationship is the way it was with these dogs. Because that's one of the things that I wouldn't change. I wouldn't want to be him. I seen the passion. I've seen the work. You know, I can be a part of some of them. Man, I told you. In his story, you know what I'm saying? Boy, I wish you had to listen, boy. Boy, I wish you had to listen. You know, that type of shit. And you probably ask him on some of them situations, man, would you do it again? Man, hell yeah. Man, shit, I'm there. I'm there. Type of shit, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's a good conversation. Hey, fellas, don't forget to take that poll. It is not a wrong or right answer. Mr. Mike Turn, what up, fam? I see you. Well, that was just my little input thinking about the shit, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Mo, I know you out there. Mo! Mo?
What up, man?
I know you out there.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can't see the poll from where I am, right? Can you see the poll?
Either. No.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to go over here and check the poll out. But let me give a big shout out to my man. The rabbit man, Kennels in the house. What up, fam? I'm going to go back, you know, before I get away from here. Hey, Mo.
Yeah.
You know I'm going to ask you.
What's that?
Your answer on the poll. What would be that answer, bro? I'm going to ask you. Tell me.
Well, I definitely would love to change some shit.
But let me get to the poll because I got to keep you on the poll because I know when you get into that conversation, if you could relive your American Pit Bull Terrier history over, would you do things different? You wouldn't change a thing. You would have a bigger yard or work on having better dogs.
I'll say that again.
If you would relive your American Pit Bull Terrier history over, what would you do? Things different, wouldn't change a thing, have a bigger yard, work on having better dogs.
I would change some things. Ain't that one of them?
Yeah, you would do things different.
Yeah.
So you would just do things different. You wouldn't work on having a bigger yard or better dogs?
No, I think I had a big enough yard and I already had a lot of dogs. So
yeah, that's my boy, though. See, that's my boy. That's my boy. Look, that's my boy right there. Because you know, I know you would do things different. But look, go ahead, man. We're going to check out this poll right quick. Hey, appreciate everybody for showing up, showing out. Hey, man, look, I'm going to drop that link. You know, jump in, have that conversation. Don't have to get in depth about who you are, what you did. You ain't got to worry about all that. You know, just express, you know, if you had a chance to do something during this do something over, or being with your association with these American Pit Bull Terriers. I'd like to know how you feel based on tonight's poll question, and elaborate if you could, because I think it's really going to be entertaining. But I'm gonna leave that to you, Mo, because you can talk about what would you do different.
I would probably do a lot of things. I wouldn't say different. It's just one of my main things would be my handling of the roids and handling of my studs. You know, I know Maytu got straws on it, but I could have had a lot of straws off of me. I could have had me a straws off of Twisted, you know. Cause me, I would have definitely been able to. Me and my boys from D Side, we would have definitely been trading off some valves for later, you know. So I would have been able to bring that attention to them. All the way down to even Mike Stewart with Cock Diesel, talking to these guys, and getting, now technology, the straws would have been the thing. Just imagine if a lot of us was thinking about the straws back then. I would like to, if I had to do it over again, that would be one of the things. My steroid use would never change, but my use of the steroids and the effect they had on the dogs after the fact, I would have been addressing that. If I had to do it again, I would address it and been, handling it a little more better than I did because of the my inability to breed like I wanted to. Like I couldn't breed Buck Rogers. That's why Buck Rogers didn't get but one lit on the ground. And he could have been a hell of a producer, cause just the one that he put out there. Um, Even when it came down to Brat, it took Brat years before she came back and started having like a normal cycle. But this was at the end, and she was old. Before I let her go, but she was still throwing puppies. Remember, she had puppies off of Mayday. She had puppies off of May 2. You know what I'm saying? So them were just major pluses. But those, after the Mayday breeding, you know, remember she didn't come in heat for a while. But when she did come in here, I was able to breed her to May 2. And she had some nice little red puppies. You know? Let me see what else I would have done different. Well, if I had to do it all over again, I'd make sure that I got back up to the Lucane if I had to take up there personally and get my breeding to Lucane. My other breeding would have been Brat to Champion Twisted. That was another one I would have loved to have been able to do. You know? Or Brat to Barracuda. She just had such a funny eat cycle. And the same thing with Sassy. Sassy was the brood bitch, and Sassy was bred to a lot of those champions. She bred to Cock Diesel. She was bred to Nico Jr. She had the puppies off of Little Buck. She had the breeding with Champion Little John. Uh, Jamie got her, and he made some good breedings with her. He bred her to a double bred Virgil bitch. He bred her to, what was that dog off of us? No, the ASAP dog. He was bred off of Burns Stumpy. Nope, the hog dog. Burns hog dog or something like that. He came off of Stumpy. Yeah, she got some winners out of all those dogs. Yeah, I wish if I had to do it over again, I would have Well, she was a brood bitch and she got bred a lot. She still had the little puppies off her baby. That was her first litter. And to me, that was her best litter. I would have loved to see her bred to Maytu. I think I bred her daughter to Maytu. I'm, I'm trying to remember, did I breed Sassy to Maytu and get some pups? But yeah, she was the brood bitch of the yard because everybody else wasn't coming in heat. Remember I had Blondie, the Nickel Jr. Sassy pup, little Blondie too. I never did see her come in heat, and she was on my yard for 3.5 years. Let me see who else. If I had to do it all over again, I'd have my cameras out there from the giddy up. I never took, my popularity in the dogs. I never got to that point where I felt I was that popular to be worried about people stealing my dogs. You know what I'm saying? So, them boys that started stealing them with the same little group of guys, they must have been some good dogs because they kept coming back. So, that'd be something I would have changed, not take such a headshot before I had those cameras out. I should have had them out from the giddy up. I had to resort to putting them up. But a lesson to be learned. Just different things like that right there. I wouldn't have changed none of my picks. I wish I could have been able to get more puppies out of Buck Rogers. Another failure, like I said, because of the roids. I would have been breeding Maytu more. Cause I started breeding Maytu late. I wasn't even in the game a year after I started breeding Maytu.
What about like in the beginning with knowing what you know now, with Bruiser, Blood, be it that first batch?
Oh, if I had it all over to do again, I mean, like that. First of all, I can't never take away the inexperience because you got to be inexperienced to get experience. So I don't think I could ever change that. But if I was in the same position to do it all over again with the experience that I have, Bruiser would have been a champion. There's no doubt that little Mikey and Judah would have been champions, and I probably would have had a grand champion time mix. Litter make the grand champion Satan. Those dogs ended up being very valuable and important to what I was doing on the yard. And if I had to do it all over again, I would have took all precautions into making sure that things that happened to them, like getting stolen and time mix getting poisoned, those things right there under the right security would have never happened.
You didn't say Solo. Remember, she was a
Solo. I did say Solo.
No,
you did. Blood. Solo would be in that picture.
Yeah.
Solo. Look, she hung herself.
Right.
I would have never. If I had to do it again, I wouldn't.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That badass little bitch is she.
Yeah.
Man, if you had something to do with
a low posse buster bitch. She's a low posse buster bitch. Right off a low posse buster and low posse queen. Never got a chance to breed or nothing.
Mm-mm.
Same with Ratchet, one of the post breedings. With Dusty, I'd have been more experienced. I'd have won that night. You gotta have that inexperience to get experience. But if you can go back there and do it again with that experience, a lot of things would have been different. Like me and Red Ace in Puerto Rico. All I had to do is just spend that same weekend I stayed up there and just waited.
Mm-hmm. We were there a week, down there 2 weeks after the show.
Yep. So that could have been done different. I could have waited and did that later.
Yep.
I was having too much fun up there, even after I lost. So I'd have did that different. Probably would have definitely got a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's for sure. If all I had to do is get Red Ace back to Red Ace. That could have took a week. That'd have been perfect. Just things like that you go back and look at. You know, Roger wouldn't have had the 2 losses that he had. And had to get picked up because he should have never been done. You know, doing sick dogs, knowing that they're sick.
Or going uphill.
Or going uphill. Yep.
17. I just want to do it. I could, That's one of my I told you so moments.
Yeah. Yep. You see, man, I would have a couple of them. You know, I would have did more to see about getting that Jeep bitch pregnant.
Hooking up with well, I think you did try as much as hard as you could dealing with trying to get the super kennels. Because I don't think you could have did anymore.
Yeah, if I could have got that big with super kennels, I would have been all over the place. Oh, I'd have bred Brat and Sassy Girl to 357 for sure. And if I wasn't so, I would give I would have to say I would give Evolution to them. Cause remember, I did get a dog off of Macho Buck, you know, and had an opportunity to breed the Macho Buck. You know, I would do it now if I had the things to do it again. I would try it. I would have took Baby to Macho Buck. I would have took Sassy Girl to Macho Buck. Because them 2 dogs throwing Stone City on top of them, they made great dogs. I got me a chance out of bred Buck Rogers, the Brat. That would have been a hell of a fight. Yeah, them was all good ones.
Now, them breeds wouldn't be to make better dogs, or would you consider that? Because that wasn't on your, that wasn't one of your things in your high hope list. But those are things that you actually were trying to do.
What I was trying to do wasn't to have better dogs, because how could I get better dogs when the dogs I'm using are winning?
Right.
I just need more. I could have had more. I'd have been like, okay, shit. A lot of it had to do with breeding. We had the right dogs. We definitely had the right dogs. Just me doing more with them. I'd have been definitely hanging out with Gameville, because they took off and they did some smart things, and we could have been between those 2 yards. We could have did a lot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We never got a chance to integrate the original shit to the new shit and preserved it, even though they did some good preservation, because they still got going hard dogs in their line. So the crosses we could have had between Deep South, you know what I'm saying? And remember, I got real good with Bob. Me and Bob became real good friends. So that breeding the Beetlejuice, remember, I had been on his yard before I ever bred the Beetlejuice. So I already had me a good encounter with him prior to breeding the Beetlejuice, and that was like, breeding Champion Pretty Mom and the Beetlejuice. He knew Norman, and he was excited about that breeding because he knew Norman. And they did throw some good pups. But could have had more, to do it again. I could have, there's so much more I felt like I could have got out of them if I had to do it again. Due to experience. That's about it.
Let's see. Let me check. Let's see. Sag for life. I see you, fam. Big shout out to my man, the one and only, the incomparable one, Double M Despo. Bite down. Check that like button. Act like y'all know. Appreciate that, fam. Let me see.
Checking your chats.
Yeah. I'm finna run over here and get a better look at the poll. Okay, 45 out there. So far, we got 45, 46. And it said, if you could relive your American Pit Bull Terrier history over, would you? At 30%, we had do things different. Wouldn't change a thing at 20%. Have a bigger yard at 7%. And leading the pack, work on having better dogs at 43%. Appreciate that, y'all. It's not a right or wrong answer. So, if you're out there, don't forget to hit that poll question. Entertain us, because I would love to know where you guys' minds at when it comes to this conversation. Because remember, it's not about the experience.
Just think of it like this. You had, on an average, at least 2,000, some close to 3,000 matches a year. Okay, that's a lot of dogs being matched. 2,000, 3,000. You start looking at the parties involved. We in the thousands. And when you look at all them shows, and actually just really look at the journal and break it down, and y'all in the now. Just imagine if y'all had these journals, and y'all actually looked at them for historical, educational, really material as references. You'll see a lot of those dogs that were good match dogs never produced shit. We have a lot of champions. As we go through them and use to go through them and pull up those pedigrees, they didn't produce shit. So for the overall and the numbers, if you was to look at it, guys, there's not a lot of great producing winners. If you look at the pages of champions and you look at the females, they're even shorter. A lot of those dogs just didn't produce. It wasn't like this. Some of them didn't get bred. Things happened, and then some of them did get bred, and shit happened. I just think the reason why the well-known kennels that were able to produce dogs on their yard is because they was matching dogs, and they was matching dogs at a high level. And if it don't be for us in that circle with those guys, we'd probably been just like all the other average guys. We was in a circle that there were dogs that were destined to be famous before they were famous. We was dealing with these people. And seeing what they was doing and seeing what they had and just played into it. That's all. Just played into it. I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't never change that, because look at all the popular names that are legendary names in the game and their dogs. You notice all of them produced and matched their shit.
Yes, sir.
And that's the key. Getting on the right bus. While everybody out there trying to be Floyd Boudreaux, Floyd Boudreaux, he didn't do no more than what Maurice Carver was doing. from the looks of it to me, James Garrett did with Jeep what I think James Crenshaw would have been doing with Jeep, breeding everything to his ass. I don't know what James did to him, but by James not being able to breed the Jeep like he wanted to, because he lost that access to Jeep. Just think about James, and he was still around, and he was to ask him that question. I guarantee you, one of them would have been, I would have never sold Jeep to James Garrett.
Yeah.
Okay. James Garrett would have never got Jeep if I had to do it all over again. Okay. But you don't see Garrett's Jeep up there either, do you? Nope, you see Crenshaw's Jeep. Okay? Don't forget that. But things like that, when you go looking back in time and you look back and say, not only if I could have do it again, I'll be looking at them other kennels, like Yellow Buck getting hit on Christmas Day. Knowing that it was just a sad thing for me to hear when Yellow Buck got killed and how he got out, knowing that when I was down there in Puerto Rico, I seen Yellow Buck get out. And I asked Jesse about that. I actually spoke on to Jesse about that. The way he got out, the dog was smart as hell. He could open the gate. When he ready to get out, he'd get out. He'll open that gate and come right on out of there. And that's how he ended up getting killed. Going through that, opening that gate and getting out, getting hit by a truck. And he's a big dog, so you know how he was when he got out. He got to run all over the place. So things like that, I look back on. I look back on Big Mike when he tells the story of Red Man and how Red Man took off on him. And either took off on him and didn't want to come home, or took off from him and didn't know how to get home, and somebody got him. But I look back on those what ifs. Another one would be my biggest mistake is when I had that dog on the mill and stepped away from me. That's one of those, if I had to do it all over again, what would I do different? I would have never walked away from a dog regardless of what the situation was on the mill. You better not, especially an electric mill. And especially the way we put them in shape. So that was a lesson. Got to see that peak. How you gonna see a peak or see that maximum stress if you ain't there to see it and catch it? I walked away when he was at his max and should have never took my eyes off of him. To show you how hard I was pushing. Things like that aren't supposed to happen. The bad thing about it, he wasn't my dog. So I go back, I look at those things, those mistakes. But again, inexperience makes you more experienced when you become experienced based on your inexperience. You know what I mean? There's a lot you can learn through experience, and that's bad and good.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I did very little of, and I was around a lot of great kennels, and I did a lot of listening. I did a lot of listening, and I did a lot of common sense thinking with the listening, because I was able to put everything of those winning kennels, all of them had certain things that was in common. And once you figure out those certain things, And the first thing you want to figure out is why are they winning? Why are they winning? Because if you want to win, you better figure out how those that are winning are winning. You better figure out how they are doing what they're doing. You know, I wasn't trying to beat the bush. You know, I felt like I already had the bush. They're all right there in front of me. All I had to do was take a little bit of everybody and take off. If I had a chance to do that in Ohio, I'd probably have been doing it a whole lot sooner than before the Mayday stuff. You know, dogs like Dusty and them, man, and Crybaby. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. Those unfortunate things that happen. Imagine if we could have been taking those dogs and making the crosses that they had out there at the time.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was. You remember before Queen came up there. You know, remember how the Boils dogs was up there in the D before the Red Boy dogs came along. Start knocking them off. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why Queen didn't get the popularity, you know, or the ooh ah when she first got there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, I think everybody was looking at her like we were looking at all the other Boils dogs. Remember? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, when the Queen came?
Yeah.
Up there, yeah.
If I had that to do again, I'd have been betting with Queen.
Hey, that's another one of them shit.
Well, if I had to do it again, I would be betting on Queen. Yes. Yep, that's one. But yeah, you just, like I said, there's a lot of things you can go back in and do. But if I would go past a word to the wise would be all the great ones played with the great ones. That's the best thing I can tell you. If you do your research and look at all the great kennels, I would have to say 90% of them were great kennels because they were producing and matching their own shit. Body Snatcher, Beach Boys. These are known great kennels. We don't talk much about them, but you know I'm always talking about Ruckus. You know, because of the good line of dogs, the Cunninghams. You know, they matched a lot of dogs. You know, I mean, if you look at what they was doing, you notice these are still great kennels. You know, I figured they must have picked that shit up their damn self back in the day when they was when Kingfish and Zebo and all them was out there. You know, there was a lot of people running around screaming, you know, that Zebo wasn't no good producer. And I always was looking at everybody like, you know, that's when my first time I ever came to the conclusion, you know, go with what your eyes see and not with what your ears hear. You know what I'm saying? Because I couldn't find nothing out there that was proven to me, convincing to me, that Zebra wasn't a dog to have in your bloodline. I found him back there with Rosie back in the you know, way back there in the Shavers dogs, and I always wondered, you know, like, you know, we got a bitch that got Mayday in her pedigree one time, and that bitch looked just like Mayday, but she a bitch. All the rest of her is something else. But the bitch came out with looking like Mayday. You know, and actually her grandfather was Grand Champion Mr. Mayday. Now, Grand Champion Mr. Mayday looked at anything like Mayday. He sure threw one to carry with that bitch because she got the same beefy ass mouth, the same big ass built body, looking like a a male instead of a female. And you know that's a genetic, that's a trait that came through all that other stuff. And I'm talking about a strong line. You got Red Boy, you got Garner in the shit, but what stood out in that bitch? Mayday. On top of all that other shit, that one female, I can't say much about the other ones, but she definitely came out looking like Mayday. Big ass head, the same beefy ass gums, a whole lot of mouth, big ass teeth.
And that body, man, she looked like a
body
little
just looked
tank.
like a male, yeah.
Yeah. She looked like a male, a big ass male.
Mm-hmm. Muscular,
yeah. Cause she don't know how to walk like she got sense.
Mm-mm.
And that's what make her male ways, because I look at her sometimes and I'll be like, damn, she look like a male, Mom. Hermaphrodite or some shit. Cause she is so big. That's the biggest female we ever had.
Mm-hmm. Pretty Mom was a pretty big bitch.
Yeah, but she wasn't that big. No.
She act like a male, walk like a male, look like a male. But that's the genetics. Follow the genetic pool. Every one of these great kennels had a genetic pool that worked for them. And any of them ones that was out there doing it, if you notice and pay close attention to it, they was matching dogs. That was breeding their own shit. That was the key. They was matching their shit and producing their shit, and you have to literally break their yard down to see what they was doing. If you did that, you were in the game. Because hardcore definitely made the red boy Jeep Rascal Cross work just by using yellow. And he had Chance on the yard too, to really make a red boy if he chose to. And Chance shows up in a lot of great dogs' pedigree. Hardcore's Chance. So when you look at them kind of guys there and you see they shit, Hell on Earth was another one. Got to give Mike Stewart his. He bounced around a little bit though. He had the termite stuff, and he liked it that. He liked it that. Definitely liked the termite stuff. I wouldn't put so much into the Jocko, but I can tell you that he liked it. He liked it that stuff. Yeah, and he has some badass dogs too. But again, Hello Nerd match dogs. Don't forget Dead Serious and Mad. Can't forget them. You pay attention to their shit. BB Red and Banjo both being all of them. Mad's dog being all of them. Gabe and Gabe Jr. You gotta look at those guys and know that they matching dogs. So you gotta look into their yard and see what they're working with. Deep South was the same way. They took Twisted and Luke Kane and made a line of dogs and some damn good dogs. Got a good dog from STP in that little deal that he made and came out with Dum Dum, crossed back into that Mayday stuff, came out with that Dum Dum and Trina shit. Both of these dogs was badass champions. Top level champions. All the dogs that I'm naming and the kennels that I'm naming were all, that level, high level of dog men. And no, I wouldn't even say it has anything to do with experience. I just think it had a lot to do with opportunity. I think Ohio and my people from Ohio and in the Michigan area, they groomed me into a dog man. but I would have to say, running into Angel, opened the door for us to get back into the yellow dogs that we were, really into. And that changed and opened up a lot of doors. I was already in the yellow stuff. Don't forget, guys, I was already dealing with Mayday, but before I actually bred the Mayday, I was dealing with Stone City too. So I was already on the Latin team because I had, I wanted the yellow dogs. When I was with the Eli dogs, I was riding with nobody but Satan and Jeep only. Because that's what my KP was working with. And that's probably where most of those great dogs came from. Like Mikey coming from Millbuster. He's another great kennel. Back then, and that was like 89 when we won Best in Show with Mikey. And you look at that breeding there, they was breeding yellow and buck back then.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at all those things there, and again, thanks to James Pope and a determined KP, they're getting it down pat. First thing we need to do is, like I said, is do what they doing, and that is breeding to match dogs. Not breeding to pedigrees, but we're trying to breed to have match dogs. Best way to get that done is look at the kennels who's breeding to have match dogs.
Yeah.
Fuck that. That's what it was like back then, and that's the answer to all questions when it comes to how do I like to breed. I like to breed like all the other great kennels that bred and matched their dogs and had great dogs.
Straight to the point, Mo.
Yeah.
Let me get these shout outs right quick, man. Big shout out to Behind Enemy Lines in the house. What up, fam? I see you. Jay Green. What up, though, fam? Welcome to the Shark Tank. My man Havoc 360 in the house. What up? Yo, my man. Mr. Jason Clark in the house. What up? Okay, Mo. I think I'm caught up. Hey, thanks to everybody for showing up and showing out tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button, fella. Don't forget to hit that like button. And don't forget to participate in the poll. It's not a right or wrong answer situation. Just give us a chance to see what you think and how you feel. Hey, don't forget to hit that link if you got anything and have some input. Because if you had it to do over, I'd like to know, what would you do?
Yeah. Let's see, things like I would have to say major things. I would like to have a format. If I had to do it all over again, I'd say if I could have started in North Carolina and went back through North Carolina with the experience that I had after, put me back down there again with those great dogs. I would have been moving around North Carolina a whole lot more than I was. Even though we was around some good ones, we wasn't using none of their stuff. We was using exactly what was given to us from Atlas Brewer and James Edwards.
Yeah, that was enough.
Yeah, but we didn't do no breedings.
None.
Here we is with judo, never bred judo. One thing about breeding judo, we wasn't thinking about breeding Mikey. We sure as hell wasn't breeding about breeding the blood. You know what I'm saying? Look at the dogs. We weren't
We should have been. We should have been breeding Bruiser the minute we got him.
Exactly. And judo.
And judo, yep.
You know, well, we wasn't having puppies. You gotta look. Ratchet was around. We wasn't having no puppies.
See, I think that
Pope was the one that had me take Dusty, and the reason why, because he bred Dusty.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got up with TKO. Pope put that together. Man, take that bitch up there and breed to that Goodyear dog. That rascal dog up there. Yeah, he got him. And I took the trip and went up there and bred to him. That was a Pope move.
How about Solo the Bruiser?
Solo and Bruiser, I don't know if I would have liked it that. Yeah, I'm being honest. Because I would have been looking for, I wouldn't know how to breed judo. You know, remember we got Molly B and Snooty. Y'all tell me, how would y'all would have bred that? Back then, I heard of Carl Mills, but Carl Mills wasn't putting out what we was trying to do. You know?
Now, how was Solo bred?
She was off of Low Posse's Buster and Low Posse's Queen.
Okay, right. And Bruiser?
Bruiser was off of Smeller.
Smeller, right, Smeller.
Right, he was off of Smeller. Bruiser was right off of Smeller.
And Smeller go back to what?
Snooty.
Snooty, okay.
Yeah. Levi was another good one. You know, look, we could have, I would have took Levi and took a shot with Levi and bred him into Solo. You know? But I didn't really remember. I didn't like the Low Posse Buster shit after seeing Buster D, remember?
Right. But then after seeing Solo.
But Solo was different.
Yeah.
Buster D was like
she wasn't black.
Low Posse Buster. Yeah. And she wasn't black.
Right. That little firecracker was.
Yeah, she was. She was, I don't know where her red brindle come from. But boy, she was definitely, you know, I never, and that was another thing, because I did not like Low Posse Buster, and I wasn't experienced enough to be breeding like, you know, like I could breed a dog now. But if I was to go back, I would definitely find something to have all three of them bred to something, you know, because definitely they had the time to be bred during that learning time. They definitely had the chance that they could have been bred. And just back then, I was stuck more into having some working dogs than breeding some dogs. You know, the breeding thing didn't come on until I met James Pope. And then me and my KP took off from there. Mainly him more than me. I just picked up, you know, the change and took off with it.
Yeah, but when you look back on them dogs, and we had them on the yard, true enough, we was never thinking about the breeding process. But there was a time we still had them dogs when you was really, when by the time we got to Ohio, that you realized what we really had. I think the only dog we had lost was Bruiser at the time when he got stolen right after that match.
Yeah.
We had everything else. I think that's when you kind of learn what kind of dogs we had. But then, you know, you were still in full swing. I'm hatching this now. You know, I'm paying no dollars. I'm bad, but damn that Mike. I remember him riding in the park, dog chasing the car. You know, but see, we did have the moments though that we could have been like, oh. But we jump right into matching dogs.
That's it. And I wouldn't change it because I believe my hunger to match dogs and to compete put me in the area where great dog men were competing in matching dogs. So I actually got a chance to see what it took to be out there in that level of dogs. You know what I'm saying? And that was that was the key to me. Being out there in the right place to see what it looked like. So we knew early what it took to win. And it didn't take, one thing I learned about all them great dogmen, guess what they all had? All of them had the same comment. All pit bulls fight. And they ain't talking about the 100% type shit. They just letting you know, majority of all pit bulls fight. Everybody trying to match a dog, just know that ain't nobody bringing a dog in there that ain't supposed to be fighting. You know what I'm saying? The key to winning is that knowing that you want to make sure that you have the best dog, the best fighter. That's the name of the game. All these dogs can fight. And on any given match day, any one of these mugs to get out there and get beat. But that was the fun of it. To have that dog that could get out there and win. That meant more to the game back then than anything else. Not having the puppies and not just breeding here. No, it was the results. To be able to take some shit out there and get inside them walls and win.
My man Aaron Jackson said, if I could change, I would be more of a Red Boy Jocko man than a Jeep Red Boy Rascal man.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I feel the same way, but once I got Jeep Red Boy, once I got the Red Boy Jocko stuff, because Amber was definitely a Red Boy dog and a little Jocko. Once I understood it, all I had to do, we had that piece right there. We saw an outcross going to Ace. We wasn't trying to breed no more Red Boy into Amber. We was trying to go out with Amber. That's why Amber got bred to Termite. That's why Amber got bred to Grand Champion Ace. Because we were looking for an out. We weren't trying to bring more yellow or yellow John or Red Boy into it. We was trying to find that out to bring out to that stuff. We already got some good mouth Jocko because Amber wasn't no joke and she was a good dog. So let's just try it with an out. And that's where radiation will come from. But yeah, that was the key back then. Now, after seeing hardcore the way he worked his hand, I'll tell you this, I would still stick with that Jeep Red Boy Rascal stuff. Cause I've seen Big Mike do a whole lot with that shit. You know what I'm saying? Made all them. The only thing about it, and you got to admit it, if you look at Rascal, look at the lines, and just this is a fact. If you look at Jeep, can anybody name Jeep's grand champions? Number one on the list. But how many grand champions did Jeep really have? And we're talking about ones that we know that are documented. Okay, because Jeep didn't throw grand champion dogs. He threw winners, but he didn't throw grand champion dogs. You look at Yellow was a grand champion, and Yellow threw grand champion dogs.
What about Rascal?
Rascal, he was a champion, But even Rascal didn't throw grand champion dogs.
So that's that Eli part of him.
Right. You gotta be able to break them down. I mean, look at all the dogs Mike had and all the champions, and 9 Millie was his first grand champion. That's how hard it is to make grand champion when you out there matching in that fast lane. It's not easy to make grand champion. Not even, I mean, Satan made it look easy, but there wasn't a whole line of Satans either, was it?
No.
Okay. There was no grand champion dogs came out of Satan. A lot of 4-time winners, but no grand champion dogs. You got to look at it like that. And I would say the same thing with Stone City, with Nico and Nico Jr. If you look at those dogs, Nico Jr., he threw a grand champion. Yellow Buck threw a grand champion, but they were that was because of the buck in them, But it's very sudden that you got a line of dogs out there. I mean, even with the DSK dogs with Grand Champion BB Red and Grand Champion Banjo. Look at the grand champions, and they both all M's. Look and see how many grand champions were produced out of those great breeds and those great dogs. But if you look, and when you look at Buck, Grand Champion Buck, yes, Grand Champion Buck was a dog that could throw Grand Champion dogs. Grand Champion Yellow, Grand Champion Buck put together threw even more Grand Champion dogs. And as a matter of fact, they threw not only Grand Champion dogs, they threw good producing dogs. The dogs that could produce. Same with Hardcore. He didn't have a Grand Champion genetic pedigree, but he had a Register of Merit producing pedigree because he had Yellow. That ROM is genetic strain, you got it, you using it, you're going to see it in your yard. Why? Because you're going to be seeing match dogs. When you got a genetic strain that's clicking, because guess what? You shouldn't be doing no different than the people over there that's making ROM with that shit. You should be the one putting points over there on they Register of Merit. And when it becomes your turn, the only way you're going to find out if you got Register of Merit material is to breed it, put it out there and see. It's got to get out there and win. It's not easy going out there becoming a champion, and it's not easy out there to make a Register of Merit out of a bitch, let alone a male. Great as these dogs are, all they got to do is do 4. It used to be only 3 with the males. Females is 3, and it's still a short list. But you got to see why. I think that Register of Merit trait, it shows up.
I want to give a big shout out to my man, the Carrion Mincy. What up, though, fam? My man, the one and only, the legendary. This is not J-Bo, aka my man. J-Bo in the house. What up, fam? He's starting early with the thumbs up and the roses. What up, fam? Big shout out to you, J-Bo. I heard you, man. Your compliments is so well received, man. I really appreciate that.
Oh yeah, big shout out.
Big shout out, man.
Big shout out, man.
I didn't know you thought like that, man. I appreciate you, dog. We go at it, but damn, dog, I feel you. I appreciate you too. From one dog man to another. One love, fam. That's what I be talking about, though. Big shout out.
Yeah, but even when it comes down to those things like that, man, it's like what made, I mean, J-Bo he's another prime example. If we was to ask J-Bo, you know, and we call him legendary J-Bo, and we were to ask J-Bo what put him in the legendary status. What did he feel he did to elevate him to that status? J-Bo gonna sit there and tell you he ain't no legend. So you ain't gonna get the right answer you looking for from him anyway. Cause you know what I'm saying? But if you tell him, if you don't take that as an answer and literally look at what he was doing with his dogs, you know, because a lot of people don't even know what J-Bo was working. You know, and from where he's from, you know, you have to be from where he's from to know where he got his legendary status from, because where he's from is one of the roughest places you can win, if you can win. And everything earned down that much, everything. And you know, they had it the hard way because they was down there with the Kimmers and all the wrong guys. You know, the Cajun country was rough.
And he still made it through that we could talk about him.
And we can still talk about it and say his name.
Representing Boot Camp Click, them boys. They part of that history though, you know.
Yeah. You hear a lot of people talk about Lockdown Rudy, but it Boot Camp Click, you know, he you know, it's like DSK, you know, Mark jumps in and wants everybody to know about DSK, but you know, Mark Davis is DSK, but there was people who made DSK. You know, can't forget about the people who made them. It wasn't just, you know, Jerry and Mark. You know, so it's, you know, legend. The kennel itself is legendary to me. Like Vietnam and all those great kennels. You know, a lot of these guys in the now have no idea who these kennels are, but these are some of the toughest, roughest kennels. You hear these names I'm giving y'all? These are the kind of kennels, boy, when you go in there and you see one of them standing across from you, you know, hopefully you knew you was getting yourself into that before you got there. Okay? That's all I can say. Hopefully you knew what you was in for when you got there and seeing who it was. Because, you know, in this game, you know, it gets to that point where when two good kennels go into each other, it's trying to be a packed house because everybody loves to see two great kennels go into each other, especially with great dogs. You know, that's hard to keep. You know, the common green guy on the bench, it's hard to keep him, you know, on the bench because he wants to experience what that show. So you got those great kennels going into each other, it always brought a lot of attention. You know, it was part of the game back then. And a lot of great kennels went into each other because that's what it took. They was always throwing shots at each other. You throw in some of those matches, you see a lot of those matches, those were great kennels going into each other. Most of them are great kennels going into each other. It'd be the green guys that run in there and end up happening to, you know, be on one of those cards with one of them great kennels, and the chances of you winning, son. I mean, you know, on a gambler's note, we betting against you because you might have a damn good dog, but because you're going into this great ass kennel, it might look bad for you, son. And I seen some good greenhorns come in there with some good dogs and lose, and they to me they don't be losing because of their inexperience. I think they be losing because their dog was literally better than them. You know, if you going against a kennel like Hardcore or Deep South or one of these badass kennels that, you know, dude, they don't mind going over an hour. They dogs is grind built. If you ain't getting murked, like with the kind of dogs that we like to bring, them mercs, then that's a different story compared to one of them kennels like I said, Hardcore in them, You know, the Cunninghams. You know, you're going to beat them. You're going to beat them fast, because you ain't going to beat them long. You got to knock them Cunninghams right out. You got to knock their ass right out of there, because if you don't, they going to win, because they got game ass dogs. And they condition their dogs to go all night. You know, how you going to whoop a kennel that got those kind of dogs? Unless you go in there and kill him. You go in there and kill him, you're going to go in there and kill him, or you're going to make them pick him up. One or the other. But if it come down to that, you know, that scratching, yeah, you may lose, but I'm guaranteeing you lost a good fight, because you definitely took the dog the distance. But just letting you know why you lost. You know, these guys, you know, they dogs usually average over an hour when they winning. If you're gonna beat these dogs, you gotta beat these dogs with real rough dogs that's gonna come in there and they ain't got no intentions on going no hour. You know, they're going there and bite your ass down for 45 minutes and you're done. But that's the kind of dog that's gonna be the Cunningham dog. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of dog you're gonna be hardcore with. You know, you don't go in there trying to beat them with no damn marathon runner, because you won't. Because their condition is going to be better than yours, and I guarantee you that's the reason why they be losing. And that's the truth. Because they always got that one little thing that's better than your dog. When your dog start crashing, they dog's still coming. You know, your dog done did everything he could. Damn good dog should have beat him, but you know why you couldn't beat him? Because you didn't have enough in you to beat him. Because they don't care. They have these type of dogs that can go in there and they can beat you fast, but they don't mind going the distance. And they have the right dogs. It's not like they coming in there with guessing. These are professionals. They know what they coming in there with. You know, so when you look at things that, you know, that I would put out there before you become one of me, like what I do different, take my advice and do it now, you know, or look at the things that we say now, you know what I mean, or what we did back then, you know what I mean. So you would think, okay, I see what he's saying. So if he could have did that different, then I'll make sure that I don't have to worrying about going back saying, I wish I could have did it this way if I had to do it all over again. You know, there's a lot of things in that our statements, you can do a whole lot for your statement, you know, cut that, have to worry about a second chance and get the first chance you get right. And by understanding, you know, inexperience only gets better with experience. You know, another thing is listening to everybody. You know, inexperience is a real important thing when you're learning, because you're capable of listening to a lot of people. And, you know, when you don't know, a lot of people will make sense to a person who don't know. You know, and that abundance of information will have you feeding dogs, you know, for the next 4 or 5 years, and you're still talking about their pedigree. And that's all you're doing. You know? That's, you know, that shit didn't work back then. You know, everybody was too many people matching dogs, trying to find match dogs to worry about how good your dog was bred. You know what I mean?
Right.
At least to me, if you wasn't coming from one of them big kennels, I wasn't even interested in even talking to you about it. You know, you could talk to me about getting one of mine, but I don't remember a yard that wasn't a great yard that I was interested in getting dogs from, or breeding too. You know, that tells y'all just by the way I was breeding the dogs. You know, that we wasn't just breeding to anything. You know, the mindset. Gotta have the mindset. Y'all need to throw up some of them pedigrees. You know what I mean? I mean, I still would like to know, if y'all had a Molly B Snooty dog, how would you have bred it? That's my question. Because even now, I'm asking that question because, even back then, which it never became a question for me back then because I was too busy doing the dog. But that is a damn good question because to this day I couldn't tell you how to breed judo. You know what I mean? And that's a snooty Molly B. How would you have bred that shit? You know? That would be a good one. Yeah, let me see if I can pull him up.
Big shout out to my man SB. Stay Kennels in the house. What up, man? I hit the carrying Mitchie. What up, man? I might have did it already before, but I just wanted to make sure the carrying. I must have. I don't see. Okay. I'm big shout out to Big Hill. I don't see him, but I'm gonna give him them shout outs though.
Big Hill, what's up? Hey, now y'all tell me, y'all see that, right?
Hold on, make it back. Oh, here you go. All right, there you go.
All right, y'all. Now, y'all tell me, how would y'all have bred that? I mean, even in today's lifetime, I'm looking at that pedigree and I'm telling y'all, thank God I was green because I would have never been able to breed that dog the way he should have been bred. It would have made sense to me. Now, I did have the low posse Buster Queen bitch, solo. But I haven't seen a low posse dog cross with a snooty dog yet. So y'all would tell me, how would y'all have bred this dog? Definitely due for an outcross. I would have been looking for an outcross as an inbred dog. You know? Some people might say, Twin, you could have line bred the motherfucker. But line bred him to who? Or to what? Y'all see what I'm saying? This is probably the only pedigree that I ever had that God, I wouldn't have never been able to breed this dog and know how to breed it. What y'all think? And I'm looking for suggestions. J-Bo said he bred to the Carl Mem stuff. Okay, Jay, I'm going to go over here and look and see if I can find some Carl Mem stuff, okay? I'm going to see if I can find some Carl Mem stuff.
You see what he said? He got one dog to use out of 4 breedings to Jeep Rascal Red Boy.
You would have took and bred that to some Jeep Red Boy Rascal J-Bo?
No, he's saying he bred a Carl Mem stuff. Got one dog to use out of 4 breedings to Jeep Rascal Red Boy.
I hear what you're saying, Mike, but let me pull up a Carl Mem's dog right quick. gonna have snooty red boy in him. But see, with judo don't have no red boy. Now, that's a nice cross right there. But you know, when he lost, this dog lost. He won 3 and lost 1 game and lost 1 quitting. You know, I got the mail. You know, this is a good cross here. If he had a good littermate sister, yeah, I could see that. You know, a good line breeding. They bred this one to a road dog. Let me see if we can find something else. See if we can find a bitch. Remember, I got breed judo, so I'm trying to find that bitch. She threw one. She threw a box dog. Can't say she didn't. Or did she? Yeah, she threw one that had one. Let's see, Mim Shorty. See, that's the Greenwood stuff. That's just like that Giroux stuff, the Brewer dog right here. See this right here, this one right here, yeah. See, that's a line that's being worked right here already. You look at Judge. See, Judge, they just bringing the Greenwood stuff straight on over to the snooty stuff. You see it? My question: would I wanted to go Greenwood? I don't know if I would have wanted to go. I would have wanted to go Greenwood. No, I don't think I would have wanted to go Greenwood. I like the Greenwood dogs, but I don't know. I can't see the snooty Greenwood stuff though. I just can't see it. See, good breeding, but where the match dogs? And that's the Zebo stuff. You know? Maybe they would have got better with Zebo, period. You know what I'm saying? But that's Zebo, that's Rosie in. That's Rosie in damn Vindicator. Let's see what LeBlanc did with his shit. Here it goes, some snooty cross with some Bolio. Way off my mark. Y'all see what I'm saying though? Ain't easy as you think it is it? Imagine I was green back then. Let me see. I think the best one that I still would have stuck with, I went with Tate. Let me see. If I would have been messing with judo, I would have got me a female. You know what I'm saying? I would have had to get me one of these females. It's not like they had a lot. So I said 2-time winner down here. Okay, let's pick on the only match dog here. Let's see what we got out of that. See, I'm not a fan of the top. And it's getting away from what I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely getting away from what I'm looking for. Still all males. I'm trying to get a female. See, this is the thing that I hate about dealing with when I see breeders. You know, when I see breeders doing this, it's like they be like automatic. Sorry, you know, automatic. I just. I probably, if I'd have knew Tony, I'd probably took this route with Tony. Because I'd been down there with Tony with judo, and Tony been like, man, let's breed. I'm breeding to the red boy shit. And I probably would have took his advice and ran that way. Yeah, especially after seeing Tate. I would have liked to Tate. He was a good looking dog and he was a good dog. So I probably would have said, you know what, I'm gonna take judo, I'm gonna breed judo to a red boy dog. And probably would have had a bunch of red nose running around, you know, red brindle dogs, you know what I'm saying? Because judo was a brindle dog. But yeah, I could see myself doing that right there. But you know, it's hard to find a snooty cross. I'm checking the chat. I'm dipping in and out of the chat, looking for somebody to say, "Try this one." You know, try this one. You know, hoping that like maybe that'll work. You know, it's hard to make them kind of crosses. I'm gonna pull this one up, Jay. Let me see. Riverview champion slingshot, grand champion gauge to snatch. Okay, hold on, Jay, bro. I'm going to try that one. Okay.
Yeah, you ain't saying that. You must be in there harder work or something. What you mean?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pulling up J-Bo shit.
Okay.
J-Bo told me to look at this one. Here go one. J-Bo told me to take a look at that.
Okay. It was awful quiet.
Oh, I was down in there snatching up some shit. What you think, J-Bo? I mean, this is a good breeding because look, you breeding match dogs. When you breed match dogs, you know that's gonna get you. But if you ain't got that line of dogs on the yard, you know, and got 21 offspring, you see what I'm saying? Okay, Jay, I see you up here. I'm gonna be check head first. Here go J-Bo. Hey J-Bo, that's a nice one right there. Thanks, mommy. J-Bo, that's a nice one right there. How did that one turn out, Jay? I like that one. Dang, J-Bo, no pups.
You ain't reading the chat. He said the police got him.
Oh, okay. No, I'm looking at the pedigree. Sorry about that. Boy, you should have broke in there and got that one back out of there. That's a nice one right there, J-Bo. That's a smart one too, because you see the little yellow right up in there. The dog got a little yellow up in him. Little yellow John. Oh, Rocky. Oh, Red Boy G Cross coming by way of Yellow John. That's a Red Boy G Cross right there. Nice one.
Big shout out to my man Johnny Rocket. What up, fam? My man, Mr. Robert Mack in the house. What up?
Yeah, I'm going down through these right quick, J-Bo. I know he has some siblings. Trying to find another one, J-Bo. I see J-Bo's black. And then Miss Muffin. I'm going to Miss Muffin. I want to see the bitches. They go, you know how hard it is to get the right bitch. Oh, she red too? Uh-oh. Okay.
Hey, Mo, can we see the top of that fourth? The fifth. One, two.
Right there?
Yeah.
J-Bo, you didn't get no lit out of this? This one either? Damn, J-Bo, you're making some good damn good breedings. Boy, you're looking like me over here. I'm telling you. But see, that just show you he know what the hell he's doing. See that right there? He look how his pedigree look. There's a formula there. Cannot deny that. The most important formula was keeping the match dogs right where they needed to be. Second generation, he got 3 champions in the second generation. And then got a champion as a sire.
He said police got that one too.
J-Bo, they always get the wrong ones, don't they though, man? I know how it felt too. They always get the wrong ones. damn good breed, bro. I got to give it to you, Jay, but that's a damn good cross. You had the right bitches. And as you notice, that's 2 bitches I done showed y'all, J-Bo, and took and bred them to them champions. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not the only one. J-Bo know what's up. If I knew what I know now, I'd have been taking that bitch right here, Whitehead, and breeding that bitch to judo. I think I would have got something.
Shit.
That bitch right there bred to judo, I think I would have got something.
Hey, look how that peg would have looked. Considering the type of dog judo was.
Yeah.
If we hadn't got to him, he was gonna be a champion.
Oh yeah.
The way he dismantled that champion. No.
That dog came back to win his champion after quitting on judo.
Yeah.
I like this one. Yeah, I would have took that to a red board. I'd have took that shit right there and crossed in just Snooty Molly B. Yes, I would have. And he would have been a champion too. He was already a 2-time winner. I'd have had him as a champion, boy. I'd have came down there and bred to that Whitehead dog. We might have been talking some new historical shit, J-Bo, way back then. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. But see, that show you, y'all don't see White's tab in here nowhere, do y'all? You don't see none of the normal, you know, what I call the normal red boy G cross in this pedigree. But you see the dogs. Yeah, J-Bo, I'd have took that right there. It took J-Bo to go find one that I could breed my bitch to.
J-Bo was on a mission, wasn't he? Hold on, man.
Look, there go Mardi Gras right there. Okay, J-Bo, look, I found one, J-Bo. I found me a bitch, J-Bo. I found me a bitch, J-Bo. This one right here. I changed my mind. I'm breeding this. I would have bred to this bitch right here. That's a champion bitch too, y'all. Y'all see that? And Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras was one of them boys was bulldoggers. Yeah, I like that one even better, J-Bo. And he got the perfect formula right there. Everything right there. You know why that would have worked? I got a champion bitch. I would have had a champion male, and they both brother sister breeds, top and bottom. J-Bo, I know we would have got some shit. I know we would have got some shit, J-Bo. That would have worked perfect. 2 brother sister breeds, top and bottom, inbred going right in. 50-50. Inbred 50-50. There's nowhere in the world we couldn't have got at least one, J-Bo. One. Just one. That's all we needed. Just one. That's a damn good cross right there. I like that one. All right, J-Bo, you got my man. You got my seal of approval. That's one bitch I would have sure been loved to breed too. That's right. I see you, J-Bo. You can go ahead, Mike.
Hold on. Let me go back here again.
And see, that shit would have carried down generations. I could have been taking that shit later on, bringing it to the amber shit, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Crossing back into the amber stuff, and that shit would have been all up in that Mayday shit by then. You know what I'm saying? The Beetlejuice, all that shit. I'd have carried this shit. This shit right here, I think this shit would have survived the time all the way through the Mayday and all the other breedings we made. I would have had this shit on my yard. I'd have had judo still on my yard with these kind of breedings. Because you know they're going to be bulldogs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
You taking this champion poison, breeding the judo, man, you know damn well somebody going to be a motherfucker, man. You know? That's just a good cross. If I had to do it again, I'd have found J-Bo and made that breeding the poison. I'd have got up with Mardi Gras because all I had to do is get up with J-Bo. For those who don't know about Mardi Gras, they one of them legendary kennels too. They just as strong as motherfucking boot camp. Yes, they are. They one of them Cajun country bulldog camps, boy. That you go down there, you better have a bulldog. And hopefully you didn't travel long, because it's gonna be a long ride home.
Stop it.
It's hard to beat. I ain't gonna lie to you. Cajun country is just what they say it is. Go down there in the swamps if you want to. You better go down there with a real bulldog. And most of the ones that go down there and win down there in the Cajun country, they go down there with them killers. They come in with a killer. You want to beat the Cajun country, you better go down there with a show enough killer.
All I can say is
better be a real one too.
Don't bring no alligator food with you.
No.
You
may be the meal.
You might be the meal.
You may be the meal.
You know.
Yeah, that's the best way to. I mean, Cajun country is not an easy place to go win at. I'm telling you, man. Most of the dogs that went down there and won, man, were killers. That's the only way you can beat them. They're gonna out scratch you, and they will beat you up if you come anything less than fast lane. Because down there, everything fast lane. Because they weed out all. There's so many of them down there in Cajun country. They weed all the bullshit. Their yards are groomed based on them grooming their yard, going into each other down there in their area, rolling, testing, and all that shit. They weed out. So most of the kennels down there, Kimmer and all them, they were great dog men because they weeded out. They didn't have no choice. The competition was so steep and deep down there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody kept their yards checked. You didn't have no other choice. You got to be careful when you roll a dog down in that motherfucker. Shit.
Let me give you a update on the poll. Hey, fellas, appreciate everybody taking the poll. We up to 71 people. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button. Our poll question tonight was, if you could relive your American Pit Bull Terrier history over, would you, A, do things different? Is that 37%? B, wouldn't change a thing at 20%. C, have a bigger yard at 10%. And D, work on having better dogs at 34%. Numbers change. Do things different. Okay.
Which one was number one?
Do things different.
Wow. Yeah, I'm with them on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, J-Bo, that was a nice one there, man. I liked that.
I can see judo on that, right?
Oh, I could see judo on that all over the place. I could see that. I mean, that one right there, that's my pick, Champion Poison. If I had a chance to do that over again, I would have took judo to Champion Poison. Especially coming down from Mardi Gras. They were definitely one of them well-known kennels, even back then. Very active, real hard to beat, matched a lot of dogs. Tell them, J-Bo. Yeah, Mardi Gras wasn't nothing to play with either. And they was right down there with the cameras and all that. To me, they was the one put their asses to bed, to be honest. Because old Mr. Kimmer, his shit started losing. And he slowly started sliding backwards. Because he couldn't produce the shit that was the change. You know, things started changing hands. So you had Oreo too? Oh, shit. What Oreo you talking about, J-Bo? Can I pull him up? Where I pull him up at? But yeah, that's when you know when you got a dog on the yard that's a nice dog and you go to looking to breed it, man, and you got to come up with as a breeder, you have to make decisions and shit. You know, what cross can I make with this dog to get what I'm looking for? You know, as you see, me and J-Bo in two different places with the same concept. Why is J-Bo breeding champions? As a breeder, I need to ask J-Bo why he was breeding the champions. Okay? Like I said, you can go on many yards. You can always be them top flights. They got it down pat. They understand what it take, what you got to do to get it. And we already see that J-Bo was breeding his shit to champions too. Okay, I'm gonna find more. This one, J-Bo.
Hey, yo. No.
Yes, sir.
You need to be trying to wind it down, bro.
Okay, I'm doing that.
You're gonna start into these pedigrees, bro. You just not supposed to be tonight.
Oh no. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Let me get this one out the way, though. I gotta go see.
Go ahead, man.
I'm still looking. Hold on. Make sure I got it right here. Move over. Yeah. I don't see him, J-Bo. He didn't come up. No, I don't see him, Jay. He didn't. You see, Mardi Gras. Yep, I got it right. Nope, he didn't come up, J-Bo. How was he bred? He might come up another way. Let me see. Let's see, Mardi Gras. Nope, I ain't seen Jay. He ain't in here. I couldn't find him, Jay.
Okay.
Okay, Mike, you can have it now. I'm sorry.
Oh no. You can close this out because I'm really too clear. I'm right in the middle of something. Oh, you can't hear me? I'm trying to do my mic, so I want to do
Yeah,
You got it.
okay, I got this one. Well, here I come, Jake. Got this one up. I found Oreo though.
I was just going to tell you, man, you can't, what? You can't talk and look at the same time?
Yeah, I be concentrating though. Don't mess up and be having me kicked out the room and shit. Okay, y'all, that's Oreo right there.
Go to the top. There you go. There you go.
These dudes right here were some bad dudes too. Can't be sleeping on them either. Yeah, they was matching a lot of dogs right along with old Bradley. They was matching dogs too, big time. But these guys here, they was matching a lot of dogs back in the day. Caroline and Bradley's and them. They was definitely dog men. Somebody didn't know the rest of their pedigree, I see. But they were definitely some good dogs. Knowing they probably was some badass dogs. Old Vito, he was definitely bred good. See, here's another guy who breeds his dog for work. Now, how you can tell? Look at his breedings. Look at the way he's breeding his dog. He's a breeder. Why take his champion male way down here, way back over here, this little female, and breed old Bradley Joe. Because evidently he bred this shit up here. And Bradley Joe must have been definitely worthy enough to breed that Yankee bitch to him because they sure came out with that Vito dog. You know, don't take but one. We like to have more, but hey, shit, getting one is enough. And it looked like he had a little mate brother. You know, he produced a champion himself. Oh, head. As we get ready to close the night out, I'm closing out with these winners here, showing you another great producing way of getting you what you're looking for. Old Bradley showing you how it's done.
We got Triple M dropping in.
Triple M, that's me.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, that's me.
What's up, big bro?
Hey, what's happening, fellas? What y'all doing?
Playing. Yeah, we up here playing. We looking at breedings that we had to do it all over again, doing shit What would we do different? We just pulling up some dogs, like I was trying to find something that would go with that snooty Molly B stuff. I I, I found one. Oh, J Bo had the one I was looking for.
I I hear you. I hear you. Y'all trying to get everything back online?
Oh yeah, it's all back up. Most of it is. Yes, it is. J Bo, I see you, man. J Bo said that she was just the dog that beat champion Banji, huh? That was the dog that dog right there had beat champion Banji and that champion Blue Sally. Both of them were Sporting Dog Journal champions, y'all. Just letting y'all know. And Banji, she was supposed to have been as bad as BB Red. And she was at first. And if I'm right, J-Bo, she stopped that bitch, didn't she?
Let's see what they got.
And that was a killing bitch right there. Banji supposed to have been a bad bitch.
Yeah, they put my dogs up there a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
What y'all got it on, man? I'm at my friend's house and I done got in on the reload.
Oh, okay. What are you trying to do? Were you trying to tell me to pull up something or what? What's up?
Just
We sitting over here marinating on J-Bo shit for a while tonight. Since nobody else had nothing good to put up there but J-Bo.
did he did.
I ain't trying to be funny, y'all. I'm just being truthful. So don't even start acting funny and shit. And it ain't Mayday either, so stop it. J-Bo got me pulling up shit where champions is getting their asses whooped, okay? Now,
Yeah.
That's how you do it, J-Bo. That's how you do it, baby. What you call it, the unexpected? Why you call it the unexpected? Always be the unexpected to show up and put up. Okay? They show up and put up. That's why we call him legendary J-Bo.
Hey, what? Triple M.
Yeah.
Man, come on now. I know you just weren't sitting here watching the show. I guess you just decided, man, I ain't talked to the twins in a while. What's today? Tuesday? Let me see if they out. You know what I mean? Where the hell you been?
Sitting back, watching, sitting back, doing this and that.
Okay.
That's all. But listen, yeah, I was over a friend's house, so I had to get in. Told my friend, pull it up. I need to pull it up and see what's going on.
Well, go ahead and tell your friend how much of a pleasure it is when you stop in on this room, how everybody loves you. Yeah, that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Go ahead and suck up the pub while you in here.
Look, Mo, he be like, what's the number? The only reason I want me to come on because I'm running your numbers up. I said, man, son, you feeling yourself now.
What you say, twin? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling better, man. But look, you hit me when you hit me with the you only want me on there so you can run the numbers up. I was like, he be paying attention to the numbers, Mo.
Oh, he be paying attention to the numbers, Mike.
Yeah, he be paying attention.
I mean, you a great dog, man. Come on, man. I know we got great numbers because we got great dog men in the room. So, but it doesn't hurt when you show up either.
I'm trying to tell you. You might have some good numbers. Come on, definitely put it in there. Stopping by, Triple M. Yeah, that helps. I know he knows that. But while I got you in here, I'm going to hit you up with I got to get something out of you. You showed up. Come on, man. If you had something to do over again, what would you do?
If I had to do something over again,
yeah.
What would I do?
To do it different, what would it be?
I mean, with the dogs. I mean, just in the dogs. Yeah.
Let me see, man. That's a good question. Let me see. If I had something to do over again, man, it kind of hit kind of good. So I would have tried to breed Smiley a lot. If I could have had 3 yards, after my father died and everything, and then the other guy, then I helped the Wall Boys. But if I would have been able to breed, You look at some of those brothers and stuff they talking about, man. Those dogs, you probably can't count the time that those dogs was bred. And if I would have been able to breed him and have had a couple of yards somewhere else while he was alive, or been able to put those, you got to understand. I didn't breed Smiley for 3 years of his lifespan because I had now 3 dogs out of G. So for 3 years of his lifespan, I didn't even breed him. What if I would have been able to breed him and have a yard over here and a yard over there back then? He started producing that at 16 months, and the bitch was only 13 months old. So if we would have been able to venture out and find a place where I could have had, let's just say another yard, a good dog man, another yard somewhere. So that would have been, you know what I'm saying? That would have been, because we just kept everything confined to us, because a lot of people would go to other people and deal with them before they dealt with us, but a lot of people would not even cross that line with us. Like I said, you got guys that would go buy dogs from somebody else that wouldn't go into us. And I mean, seem like to me, you would go to the person that everybody's afraid of.
But
Right.
And if we could have had, some of those dogs spread it out in some different yards with some good people, decent people, it's no telling where it would have been. I mean, but everything else kind of happened and kind of hit. It kind of hit. It just hit. It was like throwing some gas on the fire when it happened.
and y'all wasn't
But
in no big hurry to put out the fire either.
we just couldn't. We had a lot of dogs, man. That just, some dogs go out there and they may have passed away, and you know, old, or couldn't do nothing with them, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A lot of little stuff like that.
Mm.
You would probably be one of those who would change, well, I can't say you would be trying to breed for better dogs. You would just try to be better, keep the better dogs because you couldn't get better. You could get better, but I don't know what better look like when you start to pop your breeding program because damn, man.
Well, that one breeding made the same thing every time. Uh, and uh, for instance, she had a little May sister. So we never did breed a little May sister. It was a house dog. If we'd have been able to stretch out a little further, we probably would have bred a little May sister to see if that worked. And a few other things.
Okay, so did may I ask? Did you vote tonight on the poll?
Oh man, let me see. I think I did. When I was first coming in on it,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think.
Okay. Could you share your answer?
I don't know. Let me see. Did I vote? Let me see. Did I vote? I saw you saw. What was it that had the little subjects out to the side?
Yeah.
I think I did. Cause I didn't pay attention to it that much, man.
Well,
'Cause y'all always got something going on, man.
hey, look, I throw it out there. I be wanting to know where everybody at. And be like, Ben, I got you here. I'm gonna read the poll question to you, and you can just give it to us live. If you
Okay.
could, if you could relive your American Pit Bull Terrier history over, would you do things different? Wouldn't change a thing? Have a bigger yard? Or work on having better dogs?
Have a bigger, well, man. We couldn't have no bigger yard than the one we had. But I would say having a bigger yard that would include. I mean, he during the time when he was alive. And I didn't breed him that much. And I had Mongoose that was off of Champion Jeep. I didn't breed him that much. You know what I'm saying? Then we had Beauty that was off of Jeep. So once we started going back and forth, I would say if we could have had a bigger yard where I could have bred them more times in their lifespan, that would have been the thing that I would have loved to do.
Now y'all listening to a man that had some great dogs and some great breeders, and he's still begging for a bigger yard, y'all.
Hey, I got a question for you. I knew you used Roy's back in the day. Did you have problems with your breeding program? If you didn't, what was you using to keep your dog fertile, knowing that you use Roy's?
I don't. I mean, we was just lucky to have didn't have a problem because I kept a few vitamins in them
Mm-hmm.
regularly. Mr. Wallace said always. He said your brew dogs, your stud dog, don't burn them out. Keep the nutrition in them. Keep the vitamins in them. He said, and once every year, put a 30-day keep on one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he told us.
Yeah,
He,
that's pretty smart.
he said, and you will be amazed at how long, things happen sometimes. Your dog catch cancer and everything that we have. So he said that you'd be amazed how long and fertile that dog would stay.
And that is funny because when you say that, because I took Red Ace and put her through a keep, and she came in heat.
Right.
And I put Pretty Mama in keep, and she came in heat. But because they were on Roy's, once they came out the keep, man, they never came back in heat. I mean, it took them like 1 or 2 years before they would come back in heat.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Eh,
I know that was my biggest my biggest problem, not being able to breed because my match dogs because of my use of steroids.
Yeah. Well, since we was producing the same thing, it wasn't no big thing because we was doing most of our producing out of cold dog.
Mm. Right, I feel you on that.
Except Smile, except Beauty, except Mongoose. But uh yeah. If I came to your yard and you had an inbred one that I liked, and this one over here was doing all this, but this one over here was cold, most of the time, 99% of the time, I would grab a cold one and take it to breed it. When I dealt with Marcus Young with the Bad Man dogs, I did the same thing. I would go down there and he'd have a dog go there. He had inbred off that carpet stuff, and he know that he didn't like the cold one, so I grabbed a cold female and take home and breed and get a whole little dog. During that time when I was dealing with the wall boys, they would have them and stuff like that. That's what we did.
So give me the cold bitches.
Yeah, give me the cold bitches. I'll take them home, breed them. Every time. Pop out.
Well, that's it. Hey, it's got to be something to that cold bitch, the breeder, though. I tell you, what is it? Is it the pedigree that you're looking at, or is
Yep.
it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Iterate on that. For those who
Nothing.
don't believe in the
It's just
breeding
a
the cold
feeling.
dog.
That yeah, it's just a feeling when you just it's just like when Mr. Wallace looked at our dog pedigree. First thing he said was, "Oh, all the dogs in the back was not suspected dogs. They was good in one way and the other. As long as they was game. It wasn't about they having a build. A lot of people, you got to have this ability, you got to have that. I don't never really bother about it. This one got to have it, this one have that. Because if you make that breeding right, it's gonna have what it's supposed to have.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll know when you check it out. You'll know. And it'll be like, man, it looks like this was just bred in them out the gate. You make a good breeding, that's a good breeding. They'll have everything they're supposed to have.
You gonna find out for damn sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that's why everybody was walking past your house. They don't want to get with you. They trying to beat you.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then they get that shit and be looking at that shit, man. I can't take this shit over there messing with that man over there, man. That
No.
shit ain't
650.
Shit, they wasn't even trying to go into the man. You know what
right.
I'm saying? He had to sneak around and do what we ended up having to do. Just throw a weight out there.
Just throw the weight out there.
And
Stop telling who
they'll
it
be
is.
mad as hell when we get there and they see it's us. Because I'm pretty sure they had a choice. They wouldn't be wanting to go into us. You know, but it gets that bad where you have to go through other people to get on.
You up there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what he better do.
No,
People be thinking we be bullshitting about that, but even some of the great kennels stopped going into each other because of that too. Am I right?
yeah. I mean, you know, that's just like when Boyd paid me forfeit. That's just like when David Tant paid me forfeit.
But they find out that was you they was going into, like, okay, let me just go
Yeah.
ahead and take this forfeiting.
Hey, did you wait till you got to the scale, or did it get out?
We was with Larry Combs and it slipped out. And then when we got to the scale, he went up there and said his dog got sick and paid the forfeit. But now that was like on July the 4th, and I'll never forget it. That early spring, we had just whooped the dog out of Yellow John in 45 minutes. So then Bobby Holland hooked us in the tent for the 4th of July. And he didn't know who it was until that day. He thought it was Larry Combs. Him and Larry been rivals for umpteen years. And they used to just have their own private ride. One go to one of them house one day, he come over to Larry's house, and you know, they would go back and forth, be private, 2 or 3 people. You know, they was rivalries. And but there he slipped us in there. And then he slipped us in there, and Bobby Holland said, man, don't feed. Just keep it right there. They still gonna go off about 10 o'clock tonight. My daddy said, man, we're gonna bet you a steak dinner. You got to buy everybody with me a steak dinner. Oh, I do that. And when we got back to the hotel tent, loaded everything up, and he was gone. So
Yeah, I can see David Tant doing it that way too.
yeah, he was red all over. His nose was red, his ears was red, Combs was jugging at him.
You know how super natty is. He talks shit now.
Yeah, he was jugging at it. So yeah, that's how that was, right? But anyway, I just dropped in to say a little bit of this and that, man. I'm over a friend's house. I'm finna get ready to move around. I'll be back Friday.
Well, it'd be a pleasure to have you back anytime you stop in, big bro.
All right.
You know, I put this show together, and every time you say that, right? You know, I'm calling you the next morning. Saturday morning, I'd be ringing his phone off. I bet she'd be something laughing. Watch it. Who's that? That twin. I ain't answering that shit. He gonna be talking that shit.
I fell asleep. I had too many uppers. I mean, I had too many little sleep. That juice part came out.
Juice, man. I was always so
He sit down with that cigar and that glass, boy.
Yeah.
You better catch you before you do that.
Yeah. He gonna give me the line. Hey,
Get that cigar, boy. That cigar and that drink in his hand. He might not show up.
No, He had me when he was at. It was last night.
Well, matter of fact, when I show up Friday, I'm gonna be with one of the Wall Boys, and we go come on the show.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Okay. Now, hey man, I'm telling you, Saturday morning phone call gonna be a whole lot different than the mother phone calls.
Okay, man. I told you. That's where I plan on being at. So I'm gonna make sure I tune in Friday with one of the Wall Boys. I'm gonna be down at
Okay.
his house for taking it easy with him.
Well, that'd be a pleasure to do that, man.
I appreciate you, fam, for thinking about us like that.
Okay.
Well, you know he's in our rap, so let him know he's already up in there with the great ones anyway. You know how that go. They all
Yeah,
have, you know, they all
I'm
been.
I'm I'm waiting to work on the Hall of Fame, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, look, that mission is always intact. You know what I'm saying? And you just being out here and sharing your information helps us do the things that we need to do to make these things happen. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
really appreciate you even showing back up like you always do. I know you're always out there in the back street just to see, but yeah,
All
I
Yeah,
want
right.
to see that moment too. I want to be there for that moment.
yeah, me too. Yeah, we are definitely trying to get. I'm trying to come up with a Hall of Fame all the way around to go. We can continue through the history. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we need the right organization to be put together to make it and complete it. Because there's a lot of great kennels out there. We still talking about Tudor and Maurice Carver and them old cats.
Right.
Stuff that we can read in a book when there's great kennels like yourself, you know, and a lot of the kennels that we speak on.
Right.
They are legendary kennels and they do deserve a place in the Hall of Fame of game dogs. Because if we don't put them there, they will be forgotten.
But we working on it. We support the APDR fellas, as y'all know. So as they got a couple shows that's going to be going on before the end of the year, and Triple M, I'm going to be seeing if we could all pop up at one level.
Well, I mean, send me the
Yeah.
schedule. Send me the schedule.
Okay.
Yeah, we get you a schedule so you can see, where you can make that time and stuff. But that
Right.
sounds good. But I want to do it with a lot of them. I mean, some of them just don't need to just be honored. Like some of the dead ones. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple of dead ones. True Colors. He need to be up in there. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Kenny Allen need to be up in there. These are things that where the guys that are now have a place to go and look at the dogs that have passed. That's really sitting in a legitimate Hall of Fame that we all can relate to, like we used to look at the journal. You know what I'm saying? The Hall of Fame is just what it is. It's a legend for the legendary dog, man, that were really had so much to do with the preservation of the dog game.
But just let me know. Yeah. But send me a schedule on where some of the shows going to be at.
I would definitely do that, bro.
So I can make plans now.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
All
We'll
right,
definitely do
twin.
that.
I hit y'all up. I'll hit y'all up Friday, man.
Okay.
Okay, big bro.
Hey, look,
All
I'm
right.
gonna hit you up Thursday.
Cool.
To make sure before I put that title out there. I'm gonna probably
Okay.
drop it Thursday, give people a good time to get there instead of waiting the last minute because you always bring the numbers. I know if you bring in a wall boy, that's gonna be one hell of a show.
All right.
All right, man.
All right, thanks, big
Y'all.
bro. Yes,
All
sir.
right, see y'all later.
Big shout out to that Triple M, y'all.
Yeah. Got something to look forward to Friday. That's for sure. Big shout out to my man Lucky Orion. What up, fam? My man Cosman Cal, TV and Owls. What up, fam? All right, man.
I'm still big in the dog games.
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean,
You the man. Who else we got here? Let me make sure I get down to the end. Yeah. All right, Mo, close it down, man.
Hey man, what you want me to say, baby
Hold on.
boy?
Okay, hold on. Let me. I'm gonna do this before we get out of here. I want to go back over this poll one more last time. Hey, big shout out to everybody who took, part of the poll. We had 76 votes. Poll question was: if you could relive your American Pit Bull Terrier history over, would you do things different at 37%? Wouldn't change a thing at 21%. Have a bigger yard at 9%, and work on having better dogs at 33%. Again, thanks everybody for taking that poll. You know what I'm saying? Remember that it wasn't a right or wrong answer. It was just temperature checks. And as we see, do things different. But it was a close one, though.
Yeah, the one that tripped me out is to have better dogs. 33%?
Yes, sir.
Wow. And to do things different with how many?
37.
That's close. Two opposites.
Yeah. Real close.
Because better dogs mean a lot, because when you're trying to have better dogs, and it's not including bigger yards. You know what I'm saying? Just having the right dogs. And that's not a person who feels like that and thinks like that. If they had it all do all over again, those guys understand, that inexperience turn into experience. And once you get the experience, the only way you're gonna get the experience and not be so much into the, the underground, is at least understand what the underground was producing. And back in my time, we kept an eye on the underground. It was very important to keep an eye on the underground, because you want to see out there what's working. If you can get to it, that's where you would go. It's not the fact that, you might even be trying to do anything with them. It's just the preservation of what you're trying to build with and what you're trying to work with. It makes the point. You know what I mean? So guys that can look at that and say, I can have better dogs, that means they want something better to be able to compete with. I grade my competition like the competition of all the great kennels that you hear me naming. And you know what I'm saying? All the great kennels that you hear me naming, and all the great dog men, including J-Bo, and you hear me always saying J-Bo and Will Turner and Uncle Will, all them was true bulldoggers, super kennels.
Archie Fuller.
I mean, all these guys deserve
Burning Star.
All these guys deserve their time. And most of them need to be, elevated to somewhere where, they won't be forgotten, because y'all gonna need to know them. And when you go looking and doing the research on them, then you'll understand why they're there. And that gives you so much help in your pedigree and understanding your pedigree, so you know what pedigrees of these great dogs and what it looked like in the guys that was breaking them in and building that legacy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need that for really preservation. How you gonna preserve something if everybody's trying to preserve shit that ain't working?
That's true. But I want to give a big shout out to all the ones that said they wouldn't change a thing at 21%. Because that got to be people like Super Kennels and STP. You wouldn't change a damn thing. Oh, I wouldn't change a damn thing. Because there's some people who just had that thing that they just wouldn't change shit. And that's a plus. That's 21%.
Boy, I would sure like to know what that 21% is. Unless Victor and them watching the show.
That's what I said. People like
You got to be damn
Victor,
near like a Victor. I mean, even with Victor, I'm pretty sure Victor would wish he could do some things like I would love to pull some straws on Mayday. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Early in his career, you know, I'm pretty sure he wish he could have did shit like that. Now, but to say I wouldn't change nothing, if I ain't sitting there with a yard full of bulldogs, and I mean, down there, everybody on the yard better be a motherfucking champion. If I ain't changing nothing, I mean, I'm getting them kind of numbers. I mean, I'm winning. Remember, a lot of these kennels that I bring up, y'all, I never bring up the 2-time winners and the 1-time winners. And trust me, in all those kennels, man, there's a whole bunch of those. You know, we got
On top
down
of the
there 40
champions.
down 1-time winner of going hard dogs, just 1-time winners, like 40 dogs. 2-time winners, we got down there 30. You know what I'm saying? And then in the champions, you got down to like 26. And you see, all I do is put up the champions. I don't ever see me put up the 2-time winners and the 1-time winners. There's a lot of them that's going hard dogs. Remember, I told you it was a total of like 155 dogs that got matched. No, I think it was like 55, 50. No, it was 101 dogs, total 101 dogs. And that's including the losers. And that's a lot of damn dogs.
Yeah.
You know, and even with all that, I would still want to make it even better. You know, there's not a line out there that has done what Luke Kane has done yet. But imagine, you know, when the game gets to the point where those dogs come on a regular. There's still not a line out there to do what Champion Yellow did. You know, came off a champion, he became a grand champion, then the next 4 generations were grand champions. He was a grand champion, Mayday was a grand champion, Luke Kane was a grand champion Luke was a grand champion. You know, that kind of shit right there, it should be in the damn Hall of Fame as a record under the accolades of Yellow and Mayday and Luke Kane. You know what I'm saying? And Yellow John. Because that's a historical move that's changed the dog game. Barracuda ain't far behind him. But him and Barracuda were like hand in hand as far as that grand championship. And when it comes to champions, I think Barracuda got more champions than Luke Kane. But that's just a line of dogs. You know, we credit all that on the buck stuff and the yellow stuff. That combination, it's just funny that we speak on those dogs. And amongst those dogs, you still got the Frisco Jeep, you know, Mayday, and Buck.
My man Double and Desbo said, gotta have one to change something, even if it wasn't nothing but the feed.
That's right. And that's true, though. 24% said they wouldn't change shit. Boy, y'all, I mean, that STP taking it. You know, I'll be looking for shit like that kind of shit when that kind of shit is going like that. I wouldn't want to change nothing. And I mean, everything I was doing was right. And it depends on what you wanted to do. That's what you felt good about having and doing, and I can understand that. But for me to feel like that, I better be sitting on a Mayday, about 4 or 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? Mayday wouldn't just be one dog; it'd be a whole bunch of them son bitches. You know?
Yeah.
I never felt like I got to the status, and you know, we got a lot of dogs in our bloodline. You know, there's a lot of winners out there. You know, when you look at Hardcore and Stone City and Southern Kennels and You know, just them great kennels like Triple M and Mama. You know, they didn't have a whole bunch of dogs. They just had the right dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, when you just coming with the right dog, you hard to beat. That's when you know people start getting worried about your ass because one, you're traveling, and two, you're traveling and kicking ass. Everybody becomes scared of a traveler because they know they head hunting. You know, you try to call around and see what you can get yourself into. And, there's a lot of good dogs. That's how those matches come together. You know, nobody go in there wanting to lose, and ain't nobody, I'm pretty sure, ain't going through all that work just to go in there to lose. Okay? So let's not forget that. For you, everybody to get down, there's a whole lot to that getting down, especially when you talk about on such a level. Okay? So you got to respect that. And just the fact that it happened, because the dog wouldn't be worth a damn if nobody would go into him. We wouldn't have nothing to talk about. The dog could have been great. Ain't enough to talk about because he didn't get nobody to go into him. You know? At least Jigga did win 3. That's a fact. We know because he was in the journal. All 3 of them. And we know for a fact that there wasn't nobody right there in the area where he was playing at. They had all the big boys around. I'm pretty sure all of them seen the dog their damn self and knew that he wasn't the one to go messing with. They wasn't stupid. And they would be, these are the kind of guys that go into anything. When they start ducking you see they duck Pandy. Shit. And so it wasn't no problem for them to be ducking motherfucking Jigger, and you got 2 dogs killing everything they've been on. Right there in the same damn area down there.
But Queen could get 8.
But then, yeah, Queen got off 8.
Mm-hmm.
Before they was convinced.
Yeah. And I had that part, I had never understood that.
But could you imagine somebody sitting up there like imagine if we had Pandy. And how are you going to explain to somebody downplay Pandy now? How am I going to downplay her? And trying to get on. How can you downplay? Remember, they was downplaying Queen. Oh, she getting old. She ain't got the skills no more. I wasn't even thinking about doing her no more. So that's the first thing they be thinking. Oh, yeah, you hear what he said. And then what do? When he said, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it, though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They feeling good about thinking he done told some information and get suckered right in there. Still didn't go over, never made it to an hour, and still killed everything they put on her.
Yeah, because you know I did ask Joe. I said, "Man, how was she able to pull that off?"
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Man, I just tell him she was getting old."
Sucker right into that shit, and was busting their ass. Queen still was out there killing shit, y'all. So when you talk about, you know, them dogs ain't in no Hall of Fame. Them was, to me, Pandy and Queen is, to me, you know, dogs that I would put in the top as the baddest American Pit Bull dogs out there. And there's so many of them out there. But,
yes, sir.
You know, the greatest all time was 2 bitches to me. Y'all can talk about Shady Lady. I know y'all can talk about Shady Lady. You know, I would have to put Shady Lady in my runnings. But trust me. She, you know, for those who know, we all know that Shady Lady didn't want no part of Queen of Heart. Okay? And that's just coming from the old school. We know. We ain't putting Ricky down. We ain't taking nothing away from Shady Lady. But we know that Queen of Heart wanted Shady Lady more than Shady Lady wanted Queen of Heart. Trust me on that. But yeah, Shady Lady would be up there amongst the great bad bitches. But, you know, she don't stand on the same level as Queen of Heart because she wouldn't be Queen of Heart. She wouldn't be Queen of Heart. She wouldn't be Queen of Heart. That bitch went 16 minutes, 18 minutes, 5 times. And then she gonna run into a bitch like Queen. For how much of a killing dog. You can't get no more killer than Queen of Heart. And believe me, she was not on those type of dogs. Shady Lady was not on those type of dogs. Now I'm telling y'all.
I remember what they said about Pepper was killing shit before she ran into damn Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And we seen Pepper doing what she was known to do.
Yep.
And we seen what that looked like when she went in there with Queen. She didn't have a chance.
She didn't have a chance. Just like Champion Lou didn't have a chance. He killed both of them bitches. So you see what I'm saying? You gotta look at it like that too. But yeah, them kind of stories and those kind of things, man. You know, about those dogs, we should have a museum, internet museum sponsored by somebody and being upgraded and throughout the years. And it's still all for fiction and entertainment. We still don't know half the shit is true or not because, you know, it's still part of history. You know what I'm saying? And these are the stories that come from the folklore of the game, especially back in our time. Start there. Start there. Because there's a lot of them out there. You know, it's not to glorify the shit, it's to glorify the dogs. You know, y'all need to know. Because if you don't know what you're building from. Okay, Mike, that's my last word for tonight.
Hey, man, look here. That's a good way to end it. Fellas, y'all know what time it is. All we need to do is just show a little bit of love. Because we all wish there was at least the opportunity to relive it again. Just have an opportunity to relive it again and thinking about it deserves some damn. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles, muscles, muscles. Now feel yourself. Give your damn self. Roses.
Get up them roses, y'all.
Roses.
Pass out them roses.
You
need them damn roses.
That's right.
Just get on the keypad and just let it go. Okay, big shout out to Fort Lauderdale D, aka Super Kennels.
My man, always showing up in the end, showing that love because he always back there just chilling. Appreciate the love, Fort Lauderdale D. Hey, man, when I say, you know, I give shout outs to everybody, first of all, for showing up and even participating in the poll. But just being able to sit back and have some type of history to want to relive is glorifying to me. Because these dogs weren't and will never be meant for everybody. Before the people of this community, that love for the dogs is strong. And just to have, you know, the history to sit back and look back on and just know, damn, things that I wish I could do over. Just being able to be able to say that is a challenge. But then it just solidifies the fact that you are just a part of the American Pit Bull Terrier community. And we all understand that we're not the biggest community, but then we got a history that goes further back than people can really imagine. So it ain't our fault. It ain't our fault. It's just the love of the game. And to have the love of the game, you got to be willing to always let them know, Mo.
You better always.
I'm telling you, you better always scratch the win. Big shout out to my man, Space Agent. Space Ace Pitch out there showing that mad love. I know you back there in the background hanging out, fam. Appreciate you showing up and showing out, though. Fellas, until Friday. And then for those who know, gonna be a big one. Triple M coming through with the Wall Boys. Boy, that's going to be one hell of a conversation. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, big shout out to my man Lucky, Orion, Cosman Cal, Johnny, Rocket, to everybody. We'll see y'all Friday. Till then, y'all rock with me. We'll do it like this. See you later, Mo.
Yeah. Bet I know my head, but I don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pitbulls. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the code we live in the game with them pitbulls. See the proof and how to give from the pit to the trophies. Every chain, every game. Don't talk about it, be about it, be about it. Most wanted Kennels in the spotlight, danger alert, come with the name. Super Kennels competition, all built for the fame. Work Kennels was the work and work, while Cherokee kept the game strong. Evolution built a bloodline, where the heart come from. These dogs ain't hype, they the truth in the pit. Every pedigree stamp, when them paws hit the street. Ain't no fairy tales, just that real y'all grit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the pit bull script. Shout the brothers with the backbone thick. Veer brothers, color brothers, Bishop brothers legit. They don't talk about it, they be about it every day. Put the work in and y'all let the results say. Them boys on the rise, yeah, the circle stay tight. Plow boys, wall boys, Havana boys in the fight. Different flags, same grind, same fire, same spit. Don't talk about it, be about it. That's the litmus test.
Legend of doom, behind set tone. Locked tight, locked in, carved in stone. Church boys hold it with the pit bull gauge. Fruit colors on man, Sean B in the maze. Arsenal game build, but your knife stay sharp. Only in America, walk them down, ram in the dark. DSK and metal, high dog, pound by hard. When they hit, praise to the men who rock this shit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah, they live it.
Fat boy the legend, Lil Buster, real strong, Southern Bulldog, keep the bloodline long. Latin force pressure, sniper don't miss. Shaded day, shaded with a killer instinct. Twist, super night power, unit whole rank. Boot camp, click hitting like a Sherman tank. Little fine with the vision. Tennessee dog pound, got their eyes on the pit. All legendary and little shit. Don't talk about it, be about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Yeah, they built it brick by brick. Talk about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it. That's the yard law, from the pups to the legends. Everybody stand tall. Every name on this track got a story that's lit. Don't talk about it, be about it.
Every name on this track got a story that's lit.
Don't talk about it, be about it.
Call this some legendary pit bullshit, pit bullshit, pit bullshit, pit bullshit, pit bullshit, pit bullshit, pit
Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Moe and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. From yellow Mayday 8s, they bred real stars. Welcome to the yard where the legends get raised, where the chain spots shine and the bloodlines praise. Grand champ King Kunta with that royal type stride. Red ruby in the pen, red hot worldwide. The brat in the cut, keep the hustle on track. Pretty mama got the look and the structure intact. L-Ride bring the heat, yellow bird bring the flame. Gus and 38 special certified in the game. What day in the ring, crowd love in the scene. Dogs moving like ghosts in the champion's dream. From yellow to buck, their foundation is tough. Yellow buck in the veins, yeah, the roots run rough. Mayday in the pedigree, ace in the spine. That old school fire still alive in the line. Twin brothers in command, pushing forward with pride. Going hard on the banner, let the whole world ride. Hard work in the yard, every sunrise earned. Legacy in the dirt, with every chain spot turned. No shortcuts taken, no champions bought. Just blood, sweat, time, and the lessons they taught. Going hard, Kennels, yeah, we run this yard. Twin bosses, Moe and Mike, every day they go hard. Line stack heavy like a deck full of cards. Yellow Mayday ace turning pups into stars. Sheriff Pal bought us in the game, stamp legit. Find them in tornadoes, pedigree, Hall of Fame, double grand champion. James Pogay, the formula showed how to build and sustain. Blueprints in the blood, yeah, the knowledge remain. T.O., our partner, Ohio Cash showed how to win. Turn losses into lessons, now it's trophies we spin. Mama, Triple M, deep south in the mix. Arsenal, Kennels, Stone City, solid foundations, no tricks. Hardcore, BLB up in the spec, it's 6. Yes. Tom, Tony Wade, Southern Kennels, real ones through time from Pro Set, Windy City, combined in place, low type, apex, pressure built for the chase, gotta eat boys, black ice, hunger sharp as a blade, third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid. Yeah, I said third verse for the legacy, every debt fully paid.